It is the morning. Sunday. Something. July 5th or 6th? What day is it? Where's my phone? Where's my computer? Oh, my computer's not going to show me because I'm over here doing this. I'm in a full screen app, but I can't see. It's the 5th.
When you are serving with the best, you deserve the best. By lie die, you know the competition away. Shields high, caps fully. Logistics pilots, clear of duty, fleet up for the state.
Sorry, I'm checking some messages here really quick that I didn't see until I sat down. I shouldn't have picked up my phone. If I pick up my phone, I'm compelled to like go through all the messages. All right. The military campaign has a mine plagio-glass objective. That could be easy to work on this morning, considering that's all I've been doing for like the past week. Considering that's where we are right now. Make sure I've emptied my cargo, which means there's going to be a ton of people out doing it today probably. We'll see how packed our asteroids are. Sunday fun day. Yeah. I'm very interesting this morning in the ongoing unfolding saga of the whole I'm at my home base. I was like, why are there asteroid fields on track?
Warp drive active.
Are you on? Are you on, Lou? I didn't see you in. Well, is that not the way? How do you check? I just like looked at corp chat. What's the other way to do it? Can't you just look straight at the corp? I don't know where that fucker is at though. Are you Gaius? Was that a confirmation?
Warp drive active.
I never use this chat. Invite to, no. Form fleet with. Okay. I don't see anybody here at the moment. I don't see any Plagio either. Ha 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 ha! This place has been stripped.
Web drive active.
Hey, on the plus side, does that mean scanning signatures is no longer a thing? Dude, there's none in here either. Oh, this is gonna be funny. If there's none in the first 5, I'll go do something else this morning. Oh, it's gonna reset at downtime? Oh, okay, cool. That's in like 5 minutes. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Web drive active.
Oh yeah, this one's picked clean as well.
Web drive active.
Nothing. Big sweet nothing. I'm betting every single one of them's gonna be like this.
Web drive active.
That's something I would, I wonder why they haven't ever implemented procedural tech. Hang on, we got Serpentist scouts in range. I don't have my drones out. I don't see anything, but there's some drones. A drone. Let's go take care of the drone at the very least. I'll check one more and then I'll go back. Okay, they're in the mining bay. Check one more. And then I'll probably just fly
Web drive
back.
active.
Ali says that's why daily resets are important because they refresh the belts. Yeah. Oh, but what I was saying something earlier before I saw the pirate. I wonder why they've never implemented procedurally generated tech to like spin up more asteroid belts in cases like this. I suppose it's because they want there to be that aspect of competition, I guess, maybe. What's up, Allie? What's up, Studman? Good morning. Since we're starting to assemble, I have one more I have to talk about this morning really quickly because it made me laugh. So I'm getting up this morning and
Active.
I'm going through my socials and I have hundreds of angry people yelling at me. And every 25 or 30 person is hopping in and being like, "No, man, we totally understand it." But the vast majority of people are just angry for being the sake of being angry. And this morning, I'm waking up and I'm reading through comments, and I've noticed that there's been a shift in on my particular just on my videos because yesterday we were talking about that I quoted that guy from Twitter X, and he was talking about if physical ownership is the disc and you break the disc, you can't just go ask for a new disc and then magically play the game again. Like you have to buy another copy, which means ownership is not the disc. It's just a license. You're just buying a copy. You're buying a copy of the thing. Come back into my thing. Return to Bay drones. Um, and I noticed a shift on all those messages because people were starting to talk about like, but what about if I take my car or my house or a hammer? And it's like I don't think people are understanding the general concept of um, a license versus ownership. All right, we're done. I've got my drones in the bay. Let's go dock at the refinement station. And
Active.
I've seen a shift in the commentary this morning, and now I'm seeing a bunch of comments that are just repeating this one theme. Well, it doesn't matter if that's actually the way things work. It's just not fair. I've I'm giggling. This is the fifth or sixth goalpost I've seen move. Well, it doesn't matter if that's actually true. It's not fair.
Permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Life's not fair. I know, right? Like I think anybody who has gone through the creative process is going to understand the situation. I do think there is one thing I think that could be a good thing to come out of this. Um, and I know why they don't, right? So the reason why consoles it's really hard to make a copy of a console game, right? Like it's really easy to make a copy of a PC game, but it's not easy to make a copy of a console game, a console disc. And pirating and everything is a huge part of it. And if you actually go read, so some people have quoted the sell policy that is behind why you are allowed to buy a copy of a game, sell the game, buy a copy of a book, sell the book. The license transfers with that object, right? You're selling it to someone else. The license goes with them. You no longer have a license, it's over here. And you're not allowed to copy, reproduce, do anything with that disc or book or piece of music other than listen to it. And if you want to listen to it with a friend, that's fine. Sell it off when you're done with it if you want, but that there's always no one's reproducing, no one's doing stuff. Um, it would be nice if we were allowed to more easily make, and I think I could be wrong. I've heard a rumor that Xbox is working right now to allow people to create digitized copies of their collection of their library. I've been seeing that all over the news the past few days. And if that is true, I would think to myself that's probably because Xbox is about to make that same transition away from physical discs. And that's why they're offering this way of allowing people to digitize all this stuff and be able to create copies more easily. And I think if PlayStation would offer some sort of similar solution, it would be a great way to calm the waters and be like, look, guys, we're not taking anything away from you. We're just digitizing everything. Here's a way to make copies of all your stuff. Because that seems to be for the it's not fair crowd. it would be, I would think, an olive branch of going, look, no one's trying to take anything away from you. We're just trying to digitize everything because it costs too much to make physical objects and no one's using them. Get over it. Like, that's just a fact. But I do think a way to get everybody's, when I say digitize, I mean to be able to take your library that might be over here or somewhere and be able to put that on your own hard drive. To be able to say, I have my games, here's my physical disk. I'm doing a visual representation because I don't have any actual discs. This is my physical disk, and this is an external hard drive. And Xbox is going to be allowing me, rumored, potentially, hopefully. It sounds like what's going on is they're saying that there's going to be a way where you could take your all your stuff and put it on a hard drive that you own, so that you have in your hand all of your games on some sort of digital device, so that you cannot say that you are in prison by Sony or PlayStation or whoever or Xbox or Steam. Why is no one says it? No one ever says anything about Steam, which just shows you how fake this whole outrage thing is anyway, because Steam is 100% digital and has always been digital, and their terms of service very clearly say that you are just renting. Um, Whatever. Here, just put your games on a hard disk. You're good to go. So if that rumor turns out to be true, I think that that's cool. Um, but hopefully that's something that Sony would also do. I personally don't have a problem with keeping my stuff where it is. Like, I've never, and I'm knocking on wood when I say this, there's no such thing as never in life. But in 20 plus years, no one's ever taken my licenses away. That would be bad business for them. Holy shit. Poisoning their customers and taking away, like, in 20 plus years, I've never had someone take away a digital license, ever. I don't see that as something that is a realistic threat. I see it as a one in a million chance, just like getting struck, just like if you have a physical collection, the chances of it getting struck by lightning and destroyed are 1,000,000 to 1. The odds are the same that they're just going to magically start disappearing accounts because no one's ever done that before. Doesn't mean it's impossible. Just saying. The Sony movie deal is not the same thing because media licenses for films are different. That was very clearly a licensing deal with a movie studio. And movies are not licensed in the same way in those scenarios as a game. No one was ever buying those movies. They were renting those movies just for long periods of time. Um, there are different licenses at play, and games are protected under the license that says you are purchasing a copy for you. Anyway, it's not fair. Go write a book. Go create a video game. Go create anything creatively, and you will quickly find why we have IP law and copyright law. I got off track. So what I was going to say was that law that allows you to sell things, that law protects you, the creator. And trust me when I say, you want big companies like Disney and Sony and others, you want those really big companies out there doing shit like this to protect copyright and intellectual property, because it protects you as a creator who happens to create content in any space. Whether you're someone on Etsy selling handcrafted goods, whether you are a writer, a digital artist, a musician putting your stuff out there on social media and SoundCloud and trying to make a living at it, it doesn't matter what you're doing creatively. You want your shit to be protected. And the way it gets protected is by the past 100 and, I don't know, 250, 200 plus. How many hundreds of years have we been producing artwork in terms of books and paper and things? And copyright law has been evolving that entire time. And we have standards in copyright and intellectual property because of huge corporations who are on the front lines dealing with all the people who say it's not fair. I have a right to your shit. I don't care that you created it. I don't care that you have the copyright. I want to make my own copies. I want to distribute those copies to my friends. I want rights. I deserve the rights to the shit that you created. That is what's going on here. And as someone who has written books and sold video games, I'm telling you, I am on Sony's side here, even though I'm not 100% in favor of what they're doing. Like, I don't sell physical shit because it's too fucking expensive. But also because there's a whole bunch of people out there who say it's not fair. It's not fair. Life's not fair. Like, go create something and you will find out that there's a reason that these laws exist. Could those laws continue to evolve? Absolutely. I think a great first step would be to say that every video game company who produces a game, I think this should be legislation or a standard practice, because government oversight is scary. But I think video games should be required to produce a 30-minute demo to be available on a digital platform. I think that should be an industry standard. If you're going to sell your game anywhere, PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, Steam, GOG, Epic, wherever you're going to sell your game, if you're selling your game digitally, I think that game should have a 30-minute demo that everyone can play for free to decide whether or not they want to pay 50, 60, 70, $80 for your game. I think that should be industry standard. I definitely think that copyright law should change in a way that gives people a little bit more of a chance to test with digital, because we are still evolving with digital, and I think that the law should still evolve. I think that there are definitely creative discussions that can come about as a result of this change. Just like we're seeing around AI with writers and actors and people's likenesses being used and ChatGPT being used. Those discussions that are happening because of the pushback against that industrialization of AI is what's happening here with the industrialization of digital. This is going to create conversations. Conversations create solutions, and solutions create ways forward so that the industry can flourish and evolve. All these people, I'm gonna go back to playing my PlayStation 2 and my Game Boy from the 80s because at least they let me put a whole game on a disc. Okay, but you're gonna miss out on some really awesome Grand Theft Auto 6 style projects that are these behemoth, 400 gigabyte things that create a cultural phenomenon that shake the world with how big they are, right? You're going to miss out on all that type of stuff because you're refusing to modernize with the times. And that is a shame. That is a shame. It's a shame, my friends. I probably need to fleet up, don't we? There's Gaius. It's not fair. Yeah, I get really cranky about people who want my shit for free. I had so many people get mad at me when I was doing PDFs that I was doing DRM on all my PDFs. Because they wanted to be able to make copies of it. And it's like, nah, man. I don't think it's going to be 400 gigabytes, Ali. I was making up an arbitrary number to be... Um, I was exaggerating for the purposes of entertainment. Ah, there's some Plagio class. No, no. Don't do that. Go kill that thing. And then I'm going to go over here. Go mine some Plagio. I think the biggest game I've ever put on my machines was like, I would have to go look. It's probably going to be like a Call of Duty game that's like 150 gigs or something. Anyway, let me catch up on. I think I'm okay to catch up on chat. I just got to pay attention because I'm out in space too. James says if I don't make payments to the bank to take my house, yeah, I made that. I made that in a comment the other day. I was like, people who think they own their house when they're paying a mortgage, you don't own your house. People who think they own their car when they're making car payments, you don't own your car. And I always laugh. I've laughed at people's face, and I am compelled to tell them that's just not true to their face. I get into arguments all the time in real life because that's something I'm compelled to address when I see someone say that. Well, I own my house. And I'm like, do you have it paid off? Well, no, I got 30 more payments. Then you don't own your house. The bank owns your house. You're renting the house until you pay the bank off. That's it. But people have been deceived into what they think ownership is. This is an education problem. It's an education problem. They think ownership is making payments on something, and that's not. Ownership is you own it. But here's the thing. Even when you own it, in the case of property, because property is different than a video game, if I own a piece of property, I have to pay property taxes every year. If I don't pay my property taxes, guess what happens? The government comes and takes my shit, and or I could go to jail. That's how life works, right? We live in a society, and it doesn't matter where we live in the world. If you own property, even if it's 100% paid off, you will be dealing with property taxes to pay for the right to live in an area where you have access to water, electric, highways, telephones, internet services, all those things that make up living in civilized society. You have to pay taxes to maintain that. That's just how life works. So even if you own something, you still got to pay taxes on it. The right to be there, and it's the cost of doing business. The only way to get rid of that is to completely live out in the middle of nowhere in a cave on a piece of homestead land. But you have to live far enough away from a city that there's no zoning laws, because if you live too close to a city, they can still tell you what you are allowed to build on your property, even if you own the property, because you purchased the property within the domain of a city municipality. You got to get out. If you get out and you live in a cave somewhere, you can put up a solar panel, you can put up rainwater collection, you can dig a well, you can build whatever fucking cool cave structures you want. You can build a tree house that is not structurally sound and build it out of materials that are not structurally designed to be used for living in. You can do that. You're totally free to do that on your own, risking your own life and limb and putting in your own sweat labor, but you got to live far enough away that there's no government in place. So, nobody really owns anything when it comes to that kind of stuff because even your vehicle, you got to pay license plates every year, right? You got to pay for your registration, you got to pay for insurance. It's not free even if you own it. But physical disc is ownership. I'm going to choke myself from laughter. It's not fair. Fucking A, babe. Welcome to the real world. Spread them cheeks. Settle in for the long night, sweetheart. Sometimes the government don't even use any spit or lube. Oh, I could see Grand Theft Auto 6 being like 400 gigs for sure. It's gonna be a big game. I mean, I would forgive it if it was. Bite the pillow, life is going in dry. Jesus, that's hilarious. That's right. Bite that pillow. Life is coming in dry. Oh my God. That's life. At some point, put your head down, sweetheart. Oh my goodness. Is this based on turning in somewhere, by the way? Mine? I go guess. Personal progress. Oh, it is tracking. So it's an automatic thing, and then you claim money as a result. Okay. Oh, I can kind of tiny. I can see a tiny little green bar on my progress thing. I guess maybe. It's just I've mined so little because your personal progress is like 1,097,000. Holy balls, that's a huge amount of ore. Alex is out of curiosity, have you played Directive 8020? I did actually. We did a playthrough of that 2 months ago, maybe. It was pretty recent. Uh, I've got a playlist up on YouTube. Loved it. That was a phenomenal little linear action adventure game. Really cool narrative RPG. I don't know that I'd call it an RPG, but just like a narrative adventure game. That would be a fun one to go back and play again because there are so many variations that can happen. Alex says I would log in, but I gotta run errands. Oh, no worries. Run the errands. I had to do some the other day as well. Did you set a corp job, Allie? Because I was looking at the fleet one. Is there also a corp one that we have? I can look at my corpo ones here, right? No. Oh, I thought I was looking at the guild one. Oh, you created one within the campaign? Oh. I didn't realize that people could create them within the. So when you created one, you were able to create an opportunity within the Federation campaign timeline? That's cool as hell if you can do that. What says the nice thing about mining campaigns, you get a bonus up to the max individual amount, currently 1 million, and you get to keep the ore. Oh, that's really cool. Ali says, no, 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 that one was not issued by me. Okay. I think you're talking about the corp one we did. I think I already finished that. Yeah, see, I already finished that one. That was the one you ran last week. Okay, that was my confusion. I thought we were, yeah, we're talking about different things. Okay, my bad. My bad. This one I think is pretty cool because it's like I don't mind mining. It's a nice way to just hang out and chat about stuff. Um, I've hit 1% now. And I'm assuming I can just keep going until we have reached the 100% global progress. Assuming you can find Plagueo class, because there was nothing here when I was here before the restart. So really, you kind of have a limited amount of time to come in and get some after the restart, because otherwise it's all gone. Allie says mining is my life. I always wanted to be a geologist. Nice. Alright. Oh, we can keep getting some here this morning. Yeah, I fitted that ship with missions yesterday for the tier 1 ones. And then by next week, um, house cleaning for the win. Oh, Chris is all stressed out right now because, and she doesn't want me to help because she says she's like, you just need to focus on your job and I'll take care of it. But our grandniece has her last day at school, I think on Wednesday, but then her birthday is on like Saturday or something. I don't remember exactly. And her mom wants her to have a birthday party at the class on the last day of class. So Chris has been assigned to handling the creation of all the birthday uh, stuff. So she's got to get a cake commissioned. She's got to run errands, basically. And she has to do some cooking. We're gonna be doing some cooking here. I'll probably help with that as much as I can. She doesn't like to accept help, but I'll be helping regardless. She's got a mioma that's bothering her, and she's gonna get help whether she wants it or not. But it's just like, yeah, errands. It's like I'm looking here in a couple of days. It's gonna be a couple of days of whirlwind prep to get ready for a birthday party and her last day of school, and she's gonna go home for the summer. So she won't be here all the time like she has been. That's a little sad, you know. Her mom said she would like to continue weekend things like Saturdays and Sundays to keep up her English classes and stuff that she's been doing, and just general school stuff to keep her in the habit so that when they go back to school, so like Monday through Friday, she stays there and just goes nuts with the other nieces and nephews and everybody. And then we just have to figure out transport is the thing, is like, are we going to get her on Friday night or is someone bringing her here on Friday? Because the problem is they'll get sidetracked and they don't always bring her when they're supposed to. So we have to figure out how we can make that work. Because at some point Chris has got a surgery coming up too, and there's gonna be a month where we probably won't have her at all. Maybe only 3 weeks, but definitely like 2-3 weeks of nobody, because Chris is gonna be pretty bedridden and just hobbling around the house in recovery. She can't pick up anything. She can't. Yeah, that's down the road. Yep, exactly that, Lou. She literally was like, "Can I?" Cause she's when we got Netflix for our niece to watch stuff after school, and Chris was like, "This is perfect timing to get Netflix spun up again, because now I have something to do when I'm just laying here." Yeah, that's a good point. Get better soon, Lou. Surgery stuff is never fun. Speedy house cleaning. That'll be doing. Chris just did one of those like 3 days ago, I think, 4 days ago. And then she's about to do a deep thing on food. I think we got to go to the grocery store this morning, but I got to wait. She'll be up in a couple hours. So I'll be able to ask. Yeah, I got really sick after my last one. My last endoscopy that I had, I did not have a nice couple of days after that. I reacted very poorly to the anesthesia. I was just nauseous and um, not. I just wanted to lay in bed for like 2 days. I did not. It was not nice. I felt great coming out of it. I remember we went to lunch right after it. We went to this really nice 5-star restaurant. It was like an hour and a half to get in, so we started. Chris went and got the reservation while I was like under, and came out and was went and had lunch, went home, slept the rest of the day, and then it was 2 days of just. Bleh. I do need another coffee, Allie, which I'll get when I head back. I also had a very nice um, I had a very nice elevation session this morning. So the mind, she is a wandering. Thanks for the sub over on Twitch, Seema. All right, we cleaned that one out. What's the next one on here? Plagioclast. I'm also looking forward to this month's games, man. Like, I've been having fun, but it's been a very chill month. Very slow month. Like, this is the slowest month I've had in about 2 years. Um, very slow in terms of all the growth. Still net growth overall, but like 2 times lower than anything else we normally have. But it's because I didn't play any new games this month. I literally went back and played all month. Was Guild Wars 2 and EVE Online. That was it, with a couple of little detours. And both of these are very niche games, so the audience is not that big for them. Correct. There were other games that I was going to play this month, and they got pushed back. So it just happened to be a month where I didn't really like a lot that I saw. What was interesting is I still did enough sponsorship stuff to make more money than I normally make with ad revenue on good months. So even though I had one of the worst months for traffic and everything else, I still made more money. And I'm beginning to understand why Co does so much sponsored stuff now. Because Co does a lot of sponsored stuff. I mean, A, why not? But B, it kind of just ensures that you never have like low spots. Anyway, it's been fun. It was a good month overall. But first month when I lost followers, which I purposefully did, I had somebody yell at me for being contrarian today and arguing just for the sake of arguing. And I was like, man, there's like 18,000 videos on all of my content. If you look at 99% of them, they're just me hanging out playing games. There's not me being argumentative. However, when a topic is something that I happen to be passionate about and or an expert on, I am going to speak about that thing, and it might be hyper fixated for like a week of a lot of social media content coming out about it and us talking about it on streams. But that does not mean that's all I do and that's all I create. All you ever do is have bad takes and just be argumentative. No, I just happen to know a lot about this subject because I've written shit and published games, and you guys are all freaking stupid. be back to just playing, just playing games this month, and then we'll hyperfixate on it again here in probably when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out in November. I guarantee you we're going to have another round of trolls, and I will feel compelled to crucify them on the cross of social media,
Docking permission requested.
regardless of whether or not I gain or lose followers. I'm just it's always traffic is traffic, man. Um,
Docking request accepted.
Mama says I'm special, but I'm not a dummy. But I'm looking forward to just like playing some new games and seeing where we go from there. We got Assassin's Creed coming up this month, Black Flag Resynced. I don't see too much controversy around that. Your typical anti-Bethesda. I'll see some of that for sure. Or I expect to. Asteroid belts. So go back to the same. Warp fleet.
Warp drive active.
Correct. Sponsorships are good if they offer a good deal. Oh, I wonder if I still have. I don't think I have my because I'm not using TikTok anymore. I could go back to doing the Simple Jack Award. I forgot about that. We could go back and start doing the Simple Jack Award again. Because we're not doing TikTok anymore. Ooh, 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 ooh. That might be fun. I'll have to go get the image of Simple Jack set up again. But I expect. I don't think Black Flag Resynced will be too controversial, other than the normal anti. Yeah, it's like the anti-Bethesda people, right? Ubisoft has their own version of anti, and it's like the Bethesda people. So anytime I play a Bethesda game, they're going to come out of the woodwork. Anytime I play a Ubisoft game, they're going to come out of the woodwork. I think that's just a given um, about those companies in particular. But that shouldn't be too bad. I do expect there to be a huge outcropping. I expect I'm going to have to go member only for Grand Theft Auto 6. So probably Grand Theft Auto 6, I will go members only on the streams for the first few days at the very least. Halo, I'm not sure about Halo. Halo might have some people just because they don't like Microsoft. And some people are like, we didn't need a remake. We should have gotten a new game. So we'll see how the Halo game goes at the end of the month. But I'm not anticipating a lot with the Halo game. Yeah, I would say Grand Theft Auto 6 is the only one that I know of that I'm gonna have to go members only. For sure. Especially because I'm gonna be playing it on the PlayStation. So I'll be playing mine on the PS5 Pro, playing the digital version, and there's gonna be that's just gonna piss off a whole lot of that entire crowd who are leaving my social media in droves right now. So they'll be back. I'm living rent free in their head. They will not be able to stay away. Why did my ship suddenly move? Something just happened. My ship, like, moved for some reason. Am I stupid and clicked something? Ally says because Lou pushed it. I don't even see Lou. Where is Lou? I don't see anybody here. Wait. No, I don't. It's not an icon. All the flat diskers will be out? Yes. Stedman says I was watching your first Skyrim playthrough, and the first or second video has a Simple Jack award. Oh, because they're cloaked? Oh, okay. Interesting. So I can't even see you on the tracker? That's interesting, even though you're in my fleet. No, you're not in my fleet. How do I do that? Yes, you are, but how do I... How do I... I guess I don't see you? Like, I don't see you on the tracker. Does the cloaking completely locks you down? Is that how that works? That's interesting. So a lot of games, if there's cloaking or stealthing, your party members can still see you. You won't see them outside of the fleet UI. Huh. Interesting. Well, if he's here keeping me locked down, I'm gonna go grab a cup of coffee. All right. I don't anticipate any other major. I think anything Xbox and I think anything Xbox is gonna be have some angry people for a while because of the new CEO. They're about to cut a bunch of jobs. I think this week we're gonna get a lot of studios closing and hearing about people losing their jobs within the Xbox game studios. So I'm thinking that for the next few months, anything Xbox is going to be a little controversial to play, and anything PlayStation is definitely gonna, especially if it's a PlayStation exclusive. I think those games are going to be a little. We'll just have to keep our eyes out and see how toxic the chat gets. But I don't know that there's any specific title outside of GTA 6 that I would look at and go, that game's going to be problematic to stream. Because we're gonna have, yeah. I don't think there's too many of those the rest of this year. Next year, Exodus is going to be controversial because people are pissed off about the character creator, and everyone's looking at like the savior of the RPGs, and it's the next Mass Effect, and it's not the next Mass Effect. And I think I have a hunch that when it gets getting closer to launch and more information comes out about it, I have a feeling people are going to turn on it like they did with Dragon Age Veilguard. Um, and I think they're going to look at it and call it the next Mass Effect Andromeda / Dragon Age Veilguard. Because I'm seeing lots of things that those people complain about, like linear pathing, the writing, not like the one character they displayed who's like the quirky scientist girl, and she has that really quirky, kind of very tropey, nerdy science girl vibe. I've seen people already reacting very poorly to her, even in the preview footage. And I'm like, oh, you all are going to crucify that character when she, because you're going to be like, why is she written like this? This is horrible writing. Why is it female? Rah! And then with James Olsen, with him leaving the project, this past summer, he was the Mass Effect guy, and he's no longer involved. He just literally yesterday, or the day before, just launched a brand new line of tabletop stuff. Like he just wants to be doing tabletop stuff. Like he literally said in his departure statement, he's like, "I had a great time. The team is in good hands. I've built this to where it needs to be. It can now launch without me. I want to go back to doing tabletop stuff." And he fucking did. And like within the same year, I think it's only been like 6 months, if that, he has now launched 2 brand new 5th edition tabletop things. So I mean, like he's doing what he loves, and he's a great creative individual, and his work on this project on Exodus has already been done, but his departure already sparked controversy. The character creator has sparked controversy. People are pissed off about the female science character. I'm looking at this game going, I don't think the reaction to it is going to be, you have way too many people are trying to prop it up and say, this is the next Mass Effect. And I have come out and said, no, it's not. Same thing with Expanse. Like people were saying, it's gonna be the next Mass Effect, and I'm playing the demo, streaming the closed beta, and I'm like, this is very clearly not Mass Effect. Like, it has elements of it, but it's Owlcat, and then Owlcat has its controversies. Like every time I publish a video with Owlcat, I get not, it's an annoying amount of people who are like, but they're a Russian company, down with Russia. Yeah, Exodus. What did I say? It was Exodus. Was the one I was just talking about with James Ullman or whatever. That's one of the Mass Effect games that's coming out. The other one is the Expanse. One is the Exodus, and one is the Expanse. I'm talking about the Expanse right now. I was talking about Exodus, and if I said something else, it's because I'm high, and it's on a Sunday morning. What's up, video game history? Business trip. Travel safe. Exodus is next year. Expanse is next year. I anticipate both of those will be controversial. Um, to some small degree. Especially, I think Exodus is going to be the one that's the most controversial. But I think they're both going to have a bunch of disappointed people who, it's not Mass Effect, and I thought it was. Just like you had a bunch of people with Dragon Age Veilguard. I thought it was going to be Dragon Age, and it's not. Just like you did with Starfield. I thought it was going to be Skyrim in space, and it's not. So these people are vocal, and they dislike everything. So everything good is next year, pretty much. Matter of fact, let me go look at the rest of this year's release schedule. 2026 game releases. Because a lot of stuff still hasn't been scheduled. Yes, Tiff, that's exactly what it is. They want a AAA experience out of a AA game. They complain about anything that costs more than 40, 50 bucks. And they want to know why everything can't be as good as the $80 games, but not cost $80. They want it to be $40, but they want it to play like an $80 game. It's nuts. I think I made a video on this a couple years back. Why I don't set expectations for games. Because you're just setting it up for. Dragon Age Veilguard had the best combat of all the games. 100% web cope. 100%. Fucking combat in Dragon Age Veilguard kicks ass. And if the combat in Mass Effect 5 is anything like it was in Andromeda. Because if you look at it, the evolution of BioWare, they did Inquisition, then they did Andromeda, and then they did Veilguard, and that is an evolution of that combat system. It 100% is an evolution of that combat system. Or was Mass Effect Andromeda before Inquisition? I could have sworn it was Inquisition, Andromeda, and then Veilguard. I think that's the order. Anyway, that combat evolution from the old school turn-based. Hang on, somebody's shooting. It is a bandit, nothing more. I love the combat evolution of BioWare. Oh, and Anthem. Anthem had amazing combat with the Iron Man suits. That shit was dope as fuck, man. So BioWare makes very good combat games. I love it because it's magic combos with all sorts of, shooter experience. Like they do good combat. So I'm looking forward to Mass Effect 5. I don't give a shit about the story. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. Andromeda story was great. It was fun. I didn't like it as much as the original trilogy story. I didn't. Original trilogy story was better. Andromeda was not. But I liked Andromeda as a game way fucking more than any of the other ones because it's just funner to play. It doesn't have that clunky like movement style that Shepard had, and because it's better tech on a better engine with better combos, powers, VFX, better gunplay. Andromeda was a blast to play. And so was Veilguard. Was Veilguard the best story? I think it was a conclusion to the story. I think that if you've played all three games, there is a through line, and they carried that through line into Dragon Age Veilguard and wrapped up a 4-game series. I had no problems with the story. The combat was awesome. The combo system with your companions, the evolution of all the different classes, it was phenomenal combat. 100%. And I will say again, I cannot say how good and how fun the combat in Anthem was. I loved that game. Played it, had a great time with it. Played it with my brother, had a great time with it. That was one of those unfortunate. Got the axe. It's also, I think this is an interesting thing to mention. A lot of people will talk about the downfall of BioWare, right? And I'll tell you, I still think they make good games. There is still a core team there that makes really good games, and I have enjoyed all of the games they have made over the years. But they have not made a critically acclaimed game since before, and since Star Wars: The Old Republic. What happened after Star Wars: The Old Republic? The founders left. That's literally the history of BioWare. The doctors left. The doctors who founded the company and ran the company and were the creatives on everything up until Star Wars: The Old Republic sold their company off and retired. And what was left at BioWare was a shell of a company without leadership. Super talented people still worked at BioWare, and those creative people have slowly spread out, and some of them have gone on. Like Casey Hudson is his Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic game. I guarantee you it's going to be a hit, but he has not produced anything since Mass Effect. It's been a long time since Casey Hudson has done something significant. He's had like 2 or 3 studios shut down. Like it's taken him a while to find a project that's gonna, keep his name in the spotlight as a really good game director. But BioWare wasn't the same after the doctors left. Not a bad company. Didn't become a worse company. Super talented people. There are people who have been working on Dragon Age Veilguard who were there. People who are working on Mass Effect 5 who were there under the doctors. But they aren't the doctors. And when George Lucas left Star Wars, I would argue that I still love Star Wars, and Star Wars is still awesome, and they produce lots of different stuff, but it's different. Star Wars is different with Disney. Star Trek is different without Roddenberry. These are just facts. BioWare is different without the doctors. Are the people working there less talented? Absolutely not. Do they still make good games? Absolutely they do. But there was a magic. Undeniable. There was magic with the doctors. There was magic in George Lucas. There's magic in Gene Roddenberry. Harry Potter will exist without Joe. It's still going to be a magical universe. It still is a magical universe with or without the political inclinations and social media ramblings of its owner, right? These entities can become big enough to be independent of the creators. Are they different without the creators? Yes. Will EA shut down BioWare? It's absolutely possible that EA could shut down BioWare. One of my favorite game studios from the 1980s and 1990s was called Sierra. Sierra is not around anymore. Sierra hasn't existed for 20 years. Do you know why Sierra no longer exists? Because Ken, and why am I blanking on her name? She was the creator of King's Quest. Holy shit. And they came out of retirement like 2 years ago to do a Kickstarter. Ken Williams and Roberta, that's her name. Roberta Williams. Ken and Roberta Williams, who were the founders and creators and leaders of Sierra Entertainment, sold the company and retired on a boat to travel the world. They started a blog. I followed that blog intermittently for decades. Until the point where like 3 years ago or so, they came out and did a Kickstarter for a sequel to a game that was made back in like the early 80s. So another example of a brilliant studio that shuttered, and it was a long decline. And because after they left, it still went on to produce amazing games for a decade or so, until finally it just petered out and got sold off as an IP. And that's what's going to happen to BioWare. BioWare is going to peter along. They probably get one game left. They probably get Mass Effect 5 And if Mass Effect 5 is not a critically commercially successful project, that will be the end of BioWare. That's life. Life ain't fair. Sierra, it would be awesome to have Ken and Roberta still managing Sierra and making great games. 40, I'm 46 years. Dude, they're like in their 70s, right? They're a generation before me. It would be amazing to have them still producing, amazing games. But that's not how life worked out. The owners were like, we're tired, we're burnt out, we want to move on. We're going to sell it off. We're going to go live on a boat. Thanks for all the fish. And I can't blame them for making that decision. I can't blame George Lucas for selling off, in his 60s. I believe he was in his 60s, late 60s, early 70s, for selling for $4 billion today. He was done. I've done everything I wanted to do creatively. I started Star Wars and Indiana Jones, two of the greatest franchises to have come out of the 20th century. George Lucas fucking wrote that shit. George Lucas directed and produced most of that shit, alongside Steven Spielberg, another one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. George Lucas, I don't give a fuck what anybody says about George Lucas. The man is a creative genius and a god of the 20th century Hollywood. Like, I saw, I conquered, I'm out. Good luck. Thanks for everything, guys. His museum that he just fucking launched looks awesome. Oh, drones, 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 drones. Stop the ship, stop the ship, stop the ship. I caught the warning that time. What happened there, Game Advisor? I was talking, that's what happened. It's never gonna stop. It's the talk, man.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Somebody just fat fingered the keyboard in guild chat. It's post surgery, man. Cat walked across the keyboard. Yes, something happened. Dude, I don't think I've only seen my cats have walked across them a few times in Discord. I don't think anything's ever been hit through enter before. But I've come back to my desktop. I've come back to my desk a couple of times and I've found like a huge, or in the search bar, it'll either be the search bar or in Discord, it'll be like a message that was typed out and it's just it's just the cats, man. Somebody got up on top of the desk and walked across the keyboard. 100%. I'm up to 4%. That's cool, man. So it'll probably be done in the next day or two. Uh, yeah, Ali. Chris and I are both really jonesing to go somewhere to just get away for a few. It's nice to have a vacation. We have not had a vacation in a long time. The last time we went and did anything was Christmas of 2019. We went up for a whole month in December. That was the last time we left and went and did anything. So 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. We're into 26. We're in our 7th year of not having gone anywhere and done anything. Because we went straight from there, the world went into COVID lockdown. And so we spent 2.5 years in the city under COVID lockdown. And then, like, I had to stop going to the gym. We couldn't go anywhere. That's when I got out of fitness. I stopped. It was, and when lockdown finally started to like get a little bit better and we were able to go out for runs and everything, we were jogging, but couldn't go back to the gym. Nothing was open. And that's when Chris was like, can we just move? Can we go buy this place and move out to the countryside and not have to deal with COVID restrictions? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so we came here, and now we've been here for 4.5 years. But both of us are like, oh, it'd be really nice to just get like a week, go to like Puerto Vallarta or Cancun, and just like go to a all-inclusive and hang out at the beach for a week. And you can't because of all the animals. And it's just like, I love my fur babies. I love them to death. But holy shit, it would be nice to go for the nice little vacation. Even just for a few days. And I did go to, I left us, but she goes to spend the weekend with her family, and that's not relaxing, you're still doing stuff. And like, I flew to the US, went to Maryland in March. That was 3 days of, I'm literally travel, 3 hours of sleep, 12-hour a day on site, filming, recording, taking notes, enjoying everything, 3 hours of sleep, travel back. It was, and then hotel on either. And it was like 5 days, 4 or 5 days of just travel for 12 hours of an event, right? That was not a fun trip. Like in terms of what I didn't do it. It wasn't a vacation trip. I did it for work, and it was a fun trip for work, but it was a work trip. It was not a leisurely, I'm gonna, sleep for 10 hours, get up, have an all-inclusive buffet, get drunk at like 9 o'clock in the morning and hang out at the beach, you know, take a nap under under an umbrella or something. I like mountain retreats more than Chris, but Chris really likes the beach. So she loved living in Cancun, and the only request she's ever made of me is that if we could eventually get to the point where we could have like a seaside. She likes to spend time on the sea. She likes the ocean. Um, I'm okay with the ocean as long as I can be shaded and liquidated. I want to be lubricated.
The astronaut is depleted.
Yes, I am playing Black Flag and Pal World this week, Tiff. And I actually forgot, I didn't mention Pal World in my schedule video for the month because I actually didn't know it was coming out when I made the video. And then when I found out that they were doing that, it was already like scheduled in the bag. I was like, I'm not going to re-record it. That'll just be a bonus game. But yes, I am playing Pal World. I've played the game preview a couple of times on Xbox. I went ahead and reinstalled it the other day so that when the patch goes live, I'll be able to play it. Definitely going to balance Pal World with Black Flag Resynced. That'll be probably 2 weeks. I'll probably do those both right up until the Head Start access for Halo Combat Evolved. Not really, Allie. I think the thing is, it has a crafting survival loop. If it did when it launched in early access, I don't know if it still does. But at the beginning, it had a crafting survival gameplay loop that was at play and base building, and so you did all that on top of going out and collecting the creatures and doing combat and everything else. But there was a base building aspect to it, which I'm assuming is still there. If not, I'll be surprised and have to figure out how the 1.0 evolution. But at the beginning of it, it was very much a crafting survival base building, plus it has all that combat and animal stuff. So I'm in a different headspace now with crafting survival games than I was when I first tried that, because when I first tried the game preview, that was several years ago, and I was not a I didn't really get into the crafting survival, but I've had a lot more time with the crafting survival base building stuff now with Dune Awakening and Conan Exiles, and played a lot of Minecraft. My brother and my nephew. I'm sure there are other games in there that I could throw in there, like the Moria game. You know, I've played 10 or 12 crafting survival games now, pretty significantly. Windrose. So now that I understand the gameplay a little bit more, mostly I'm doing it because it's traffic and it's a Game Pass title. So I don't think it's gonna. I think it's a Game Pass title. I know it's game preview. Oh, it's a perfect example, Allie, of I didn't really enjoy it at first. I played a little bit of it, played some more of it. I think the kicker for me was Enshrouded. Enshrouded was the game that made me, it clicked. Like I had tried quite a few crafting survival games, and then I hit Enshrouded, and Enshrouded had an RPG gameplay loop on top of the crafting survival loop. And I was like, oh, this works. Like it clicked for me, and I was like, I actually like this game. And all the other ones up until that point had just been like, here's a sandbox, craft and survive. Good luck. And it'd be like, we're going to stick you on a beach and there's zombies, or stick you on a beach and there's wolves. It's like, quick, get a stick. Quick, build a fire. Quick, make some food. Quick, make an axe. Now defend yourself against wolves. And that was it. There was no story to it. It was just like these crafting survival games that I had tried, which were just like, literally, that's all they were. There was no story to them. They were just throw you in an environment with shit that wants to eat you. Good luck. And I played a couple of those, and I was like, I'm not having any fun with this genre at all. And so I just threw it out with the bathwater. But then Enshrouded added an RPG layer on top of it, and I went, oh, I like this, but it's because it had the RPG layer. And so since then, I've seen that crafting survival genre has evolved from drop you on a beach, survive, to we're going to put you here and you're going to have to survive, but we're going to give you a story reason for it and an RPG layered on top of it. And those games I like. Windrose has been the most recent example. I think that's phenomenal. It's pirates. There's a story. There's the undead. There's the mark that you have. You've got familiar characters like Blackbeard. There's ship stuff, ship combat. Like, Windrose is doing many things. It is a crafting survival game, but it's also an RPG, and it's also like a pirate game with ship stuff. So it's crafting survival, base building, adventure narrative RPG with pirates and ships. It's like doing 10 different things, you know? Um, I think even Breath of the Wild and the most two recent Zelda games have included crafting survival aspects into their gameplay loop. Um, so yeah, I mean, I've definitely that is something that has grown on me since it first started because I did not like it in the first iteration of that gameplay loop. I was very bored with those whole survive the beach, kill the wolves, kill the zombies, kill the dinosaurs. Okay. I need a story reason. Why am I here? Am I a time traveler that's stuck back with the dinosaurs? I just watched 65 the other day. Like, did he crash land on the planet because he's a space explorer and his ship crash landed and it happens to be the Jurassic Age of planet Earth? Like, if there is a story reason to get me to the planet, now I'm interested in why I'm here. I'm interested in the dinosaurs. I'm interested in how to get away from the dinosaurs, why I need to get away from the dinosaurs. But if you just throw me down in a game and it has dinosaurs in it and you're like, isn't that like Ark or Rust or something where it's dinosaurs and you're like, Elite Dangerous. I can't get into Elite Dangerous, or I couldn't when I tried it because there was no narrative story in it. It was just here's an open sandbox where you can fly ships, and it's a replica of the solar system, and it can take you months to fly places. Cool. Is there a story? Oh no, but you can make up your own when you do missions. That's not what I'm interested in. Outlander is a phenomenal film. That's with Caviezel. I've seen that a couple of times. That's a great little like B-level sci-fi film. Puzzle games. I think again it just depends on the wrapping. If you give me a good RPG that has puzzles, I'm happy to play it. But it also has to have some level of polish because I'll be honest with you. I tried to play Outward, Outworld, Outward 2. It's Outward, right? Outward 2. I tried to play the demo a month ago. I think that was something I tried at the beginning of June. It was the map. The map was so clunky to me that I stopped playing the demo and I uninstalled it. I did not like Outward 2's demo. I did not like it. The way that the map worked and just no interactivity and no polish. And they're like, you got to go grind these skills to be able to use the map, and you got to grind these skills to be able to use the compass, and you got to grind these skills to uncover. And I'm like, I don't want to grind shit. I want to do story. If you give me a story while I'm doing those things, I'm happy to do those things, and it'll be a great way to teach me about those things. But when you just if you just give me tasks and there's no story to the reason I'm doing the tasks, I bounce off that shit like a rock thrown against a concrete wall. It has no interest for me whatsoever. And that's a me thing. I'm not saying that Outward 2 is a poorly designed game. When I played the tutorial for that game, I have this on stream. That was one of the most basic, generic, old school tutorials I've ever seen. They throw so much information at you, and it's not in any way, shape, or form. It does not feel like a modern 2026 tutorial. It feels like a tutorial from a 30-year-old game. And I just don't think the new player experience is ready for the masses. I think it needs a lot more polish, and I do understand that it's still in like an early access state. But that needs way more work to make it feel like a modern game. And I think the concept for Outward 2 is amazing, and I thought the first game was interesting and pretty fun when I tried it, but I don't think the second one's there yet. It didn't feel right to me, and that's my personal opinion, and that's it. But it doesn't. It's like a sandbox with nothing. There's like no like. You wake up and you're like, you were attacked, and we found you here. Good luck, and that's it. It's like you've been attacked. You can find your things over here. Good luck out there. And then you open up the map, and it's like, where the fuck am I? It doesn't even show you where you're at on the map. And it's like, well, look at the map. There's clearly a big tree right there, so you need to wander around the city until you find the big tree. And when you find the big tree, you're going to have a point of reference, and you'll be able to look at the map, look at the tree, and say, that's where I'm here. Okay, let me go right. Let me go. I don't want to have to fucking look at a map to navigate a goddamn video game. I don't. If I have explored a location, modern games would at the very least put a POI on that map as I run around so that the places I've explored are automatically notated in the game UI so that when I open up the map, I can quickly see where I am and I can quickly see where the POIs are. I don't want to have to read a physical fucking map playing a video game. I don't. And that's a design decision that bounced off with me really, really fiercely. It's a creative decision. If that's the way it stays, that's fine. That's their decision. It's not something that I felt to be fun, so I moved on. But I can look at, like, I've been playing Echoes of Eden, Echoes of the End. And that game has been layering new traversal mechanics and new gameplay mechanics the entire way through the game. And every single time they do it, it gives me a story reason why that thing is there. Right? Why do I need this? When I got the knife, which is like the grapple knife, like there was a whole, here's a cutscene, here's a spirit world sequence of gameplay that you need to play through to understand what this dagger is story-wise and why it operates the way it does. And now you go forth and you can explore with it. And other games are just like, here's a tool, have fun with it. I can remember when the glider first came out in Enshrouded. It was very much, here's a glider, go forth and explore, and it felt very boring. Then they added this element of you can, when you're doing the quests and you're reading through the little snippets and you're being led to the grapple or the glider and the grapple hook, there's story reasons that are guiding you to those things. You're getting a backdrop of what those things were and where they came from, and the little lore snippets and everything else. For me, that's what gets me immersed in the mechanics. It's like if there's story behind it and there's, you just need hand holding. I do. I do. I have to do enough shit in the backyard with like hand tools and stuff that I'm just not like, I have no desire to do manual stuff in a video game. I want to feel like I'm playing a game. You just don't want to work for it. You're right, I don't. I don't want to have to work in a video game. I play these games for fun, not because I want to work on something. Oh, somebody red just popped up on chat. Should we go? They just look like they cloaked. I'm bugging out. There was something there. There was like a red player or something that popped in. And then they disappeared off the track. And I don't know if they cloaked. I'm bugging out. I literally saw them on chat. I forgot he was with me. I could have done fleet warp. I'm not used to being fleet leader. That was totally like a red band all the way across the general tab with that person's name, and it like flickered in twice. It flickered in, went away, flickered in, went away, and I don't know if they were warping through or if they were cloaking or what was going on. I'm not gonna risk it. I was almost full anyway. I'll go back. They've left the system. I hope so. Mild panic moment. There's always Star Citizen on the horizon. I'm not interested in Star Citizen. I am interested in Squadron 42. That's what I backed on Kickstarter all the years ago, and I can't wait to play that game when it finally comes out. But I have no interest in Star Citizen beyond, I think it's interesting what they are building, and I think that if it ever comes to something in the next 15, 20 years, it'd be something that would be really cool to play. But I just look at it like a giant billionaire's playground right now. They're just they're using it as a testing area to play around with a lot of ideas and concepts. And those ideas and concepts could benefit Squadron 42 and potentially become something that is a giant MMO style game in the future. I'm okay with that, but I backed Squadron 42. I didn't back Star Citizen. I don't give a shit that they evolved into Star Citizen. I don't care. I don't. I think it's been really cool and interesting to watch. But I am only interested in the Squadron 42 aspect of that project, and when that comes out, I will play the shit out of it. Until then, I remain mildly intrigued by what they're building. I have logged in I think I've logged in 4 times into the beta over the last like 4 or 5 years, like once a year. I have not this year. I did last January. This year I have not. I have not felt compelled to log into Star Citizen because hopefully the launch date of Squadron 42 is around the corner. Hopefully. We don't know. Nothing confirmed. They've said a couple times that they're shooting for a 2026 window. I'd be really shocked if it came out this year. If it does, I will go buy a flight stick and I will play the shit out of that game because I'm really looking forward to that. I love the Wing Commander games. I love the Wing Commander games and the Freelancer. Chris Roberts makes good games. He's also very different, and I would definitely play it, Allie, but I'm not because I backed for the Squadron 42 aspect of it. I don't really I guess the MMO thing that they're building with Squadron 42, I'm intrigued by it. I would love to eventually try it out, but I'm also not like waiting with bated breath for it to become a thing because I recognize that it's going to take a while to get it there, and if it turns out to be as cool as they say it is, and if they can build that thing into reality, then I will absolutely play it. I think I said 3 or 4 years ago even. I was like, if Star Citizen can deliver that Squadron 42 experience in an online setting and they can truly make it a place where I could spend the next 15, 20 years of my life, I will hands down choose that world to be the place where I spend my retirement. I said that by the time I'm in my late 50s, mid 50s, 10 years from now, if I'm in my mid 50s and Star Citizen is finally to the point where we can log in and play on a regular basis with no server hiccups, and it's stable, and it's a really huge, big universe that has more than just a couple of systems, and we're talking a game where you can easily spend 1,000 hours. I'm in. I'm in. That'll be the game that I play. I will 100% go all in. I will become a single game streamer for the most part, and I will just be playing that game throughout my retirement. That'll be it. That'll be the main game I play through retirement. But Star Citizen has a long way to go to get to that point. So I'm not like holding my breath waiting for it. I'm like, I check in once a year. Um, I play a few hours of it. I nod my head and go, this is awesome. Much better than the last time I played. Still not ready for launch. I watch the yearly Citizen Con. We do reaction videos around them. Also, yeah, that's something else. Like, by the time that Star Citizen comes out, it's going to require such a massive computer in terms of computing power. I'm going to need a flight setup. I'm going to need to build a flight setup desk. Like, I will not be playing that game just with a regular desk. I will full on spend $10,000 and I will have a nice flight sim desk that I will go play that game with. Like, I will go all in on that game when it gets to the finish line. But we are a decade away from that, if that. Like, it keeps evolving, and there's nothing wrong with that. Squadron 42, I'm pretty confident we'll see within the next 24 to 48 months, I think. And it should run fairly well on modern systems. There will probably be some performance issues when it launches, but I think it'll be pretty confident that my 4080 will be able to run it. Yeah, that's a good way to describe. That's what Star Citizen is. Their persistent universe, their living world. It's a tech demo. Yep, 100%. I'm actually surprised there have been people who have been able to make a living streaming that game. That has been a shock to me. But there are people who have been doing it for 3, 4 years now. I have seen one guy, he's bald, got a bit of a beard. He was all in on Star Citizen for like 2 or 3 years and built his social media following. But he even came out like 6 months ago and was starting to play other games, and he had people in his community complaining that he was playing other games. He's like, look, guys, I love Star Citizen, but I've seen all there is to see, and they're taking so long. I want to do other things while I wait. And if you don't like that as an audience, I'm sorry. If you feel like you need to go somewhere else, then please do so. I will still be playing lots of Star Citizen, especially as they get more stuff available, but I've reached the limit of what I can do with that game until they actually fully release it, so I'm going to go play other things in the meantime. That's the tricky part when you go all in on a game from the very beginning, is you can alienate an audience if you switch. And that's what he's going through, is that growth pains, but there's only so far you can go in a early access game. I mean, I'm sure I could have made myself into an Enshrouded streamer if I want, or a Valheim streamer, but why? The games are in early access. There's no reason to get attached to anything because it could change, and it's an early access title. Like, you're going to run out of things to do eventually. You'll even run out of things to do when it goes live. Unless they're a really big team who can stay ahead of the no-lifers. I don't really know of too many teams who can do that. Yeah, all that film footage they shot for Squadron 42 was like a decade ago. That was like 8 or 10 years ago when they shot all that footage. Gary Oldman, Henry Cavill, Mark Hamill, Gillian Anderson, Mark Strong. It's got a stacked cast. I got sidetracked, guys, when I was looking at this list of games that are coming out. Let me go back to that. June was pretty empty. Let's start in July. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Yep. Pal World. Yep. Halo Campaign Evolved. Yep. August. Star Wars Zero Company and Resonance Plague Tale are both at the end of August on the 27th. That's going to be hard for me, man, because I want to play both of those games. Star Wars is going to take precedence. Zero Company will be in my main game on the 27th. Resonance of Plague Tale Legacy is going to be my backup game. So I'll do Star Wars in the morning, Resonance. But there's a whole swath of early August where I'm just not sure of what I want to play. Corsair Cove comes out on the 31st. So if I'm done with Halo by the 31st, I might play Corsair Cove during the early. That was that we played the demo a while back. It was like that pirate base building world. It was a city builder that was based on pirates. I'll get bored of that pretty quick, but I could play, for 15, 20 hours. Beast of Reincarnation comes out on August 4th. I didn't think that looked like a game that I was going to really enjoy that much. I may play it because it's going to be an Xbox Game Pass game, but that might be one I do just for the traffic on August 4th. September, we got Blood of Dawnwalker on the 3rd. Oh my god, I've got to somehow get through Star Wars Zero Company and Resonance Plague Tale before Blood of Dawnwalker on the 3rd. Shit, that's going to be a rough week. Let me look ahead here on the calendar. 27th. That's a week. That gives me 7 days to beat Resonance Plague Tale or Star Wars Zero Company. One of those games has to be beaten before we get to Blood of Dawnwalker on the 3rd. And that's assuming Blood of Dawnwalker doesn't do an early access period, which I don't know that I've seen. I also need to check Zero Company and Plague Tale. If either one of those games has a head start access, I'll want to do it to stay ahead of the Blood of Dawnwalker release. Blood of Dawnwalker is September 3rd. Marvel Wolverine is 15th, so I've got plenty of time between that and the 15th. If I want to dive into Valheim, the 1.0 launch is September. I own the early access for Valheim, so I could jump into that if I wanted to. Oh shit, Warhammer 40k Dawn of War is September 17th. 2 days after Marvel. Holy shit. September's a busy month. And then Control Resonant on the 24th. Oh man. September is going to be rough. I might not I don't want to push like I did last year, guys. Like last year was brutal. I did like 13 games in August and like 9 games in September. I don't want to do that this year. Let's see, I gotta go back to my mining. Stupid sneezing. I can't. I'm gonna have to schedule that month. There's no way I'm gonna push those kind of hours because we'll have the grandniece. I can't do it like last year. I can't be playing 12-hour days. Yeah, September is insane. I can't. I'll definitely play Blood of Dawnwalker. Definitely gonna play Wolverine. I definitely want to play Warhammer 40k. If I have to skip something, it'll be Control Resonant, but it is coming a week after Warhammer 40k, so I might have time to fit those like 5 games in. But then, like, see, Minecraft Dungeons is coming out on the 29th to Game Pass, and I really want to play Minecraft Dungeons too. So that's probably gonna Minecraft Dungeons, because it comes out at the end of the month. That'll become an October game. Then I've got Ace Combat 8, Wings of Thief on October 2nd, Gears of War E-Day on October 6th, Star Wars Galactic Racer October 6th, Enshrouded October 15th. Oh my god. October is also really nuts. And then November, well, some of those I can push into early November because Grand Theft Auto 6 doesn't come out until the 19th. So I've got the first 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks of November to play stuff. So that's not bad, actually. I can spread. So October 15th is Enshrouded. I could probably push Enshrouded back to the end of October if I need to, and just have that be the game that I play for the first 3 weeks of November. Just be a big Enshrouded push. Because I'm way more excited for Star Wars Galactic Racer than I am for Gears of War. So Galactic Racer will be my morning game. E-Day is going to be my afternoon game. If I can get through, I should be able to get through one of those. I should be able to get through either one of those before Enshrouded launches, so I should be okay. November is easy. November is going to be Grand Theft Auto 6 for the last 2 weeks of November, and then I don't have anything on the books yet for December. So it's probably too early. I think I just did the whole sniffle thing and I didn't mute the mic. I just did a bunch of sneezes. There's a bunch of unreleased, like, nothing has dates yet for stuff that could happen in, like, that time period. So far, nothing on the books for December, but that's pretty normal for every year. I usually only get one new release in December. And usually, I mean, I know, like, Gathalion, I don't know, he's one of the guys that Co-Carnage and the Drop Frames hang out with a bit. I think he started a game studio recently. I think he was a streamer at some point. Um, he takes the entire month of January off every year because the advertisers don't pay shit, and there's generally no releases coming out in January, so he just takes the whole month off. I might do that this year. I've gotten big enough that I don't need, like, losing the income from 1 month of being live is not gonna break me. So I might take this January off entirely, um, and just come back in February with the new release schedule. Um, we'll see. I haven't made that decision yet, but I've talked about it with Chris. Um, I might take a month off, and what I've done in the past is those are the months, December and January are the months when I just play the things that I want to play with no schedule. Maybe I'll just stick to that. I don't know. Last year I did not. Like, still kept playing through the holidays because Skyrim popped off. And that was an unexpected, because I was all set to do, like, Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls throughout the holidays, and then I played that one stream of Skyrim, and the game went, when I went, well, shit, I would be stupid not to play this. But I wouldn't mind, like, a replay of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That could be fun. A replay of Star Wars Outlaws could be fun. Yeah, February, like the new release schedule yesterday, we've got Fable, we've got Exodus, we've got The Expanse. I'm assuming Dark Heresy is going to come out next year from Owlcat as well, so we'll have another we'll have a Rogue Trader sequel to follow up with. Um, Bunch of stuff next year. If they drop a Fallout 3 sequel, I'll do that. Not Fallout 3 sequel, Fallout 3 remake, I'll do that. I'll do a Fallout New Vegas remake. Star Wars Old Republic remake, or just Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, I'll play that. Yeah, Game Awards usually, and then we have Gamescom will be what? October, November, something like that. I always forget when it is, but we'll get usually 2 big game shows at the end of the year. Usually some day one releases that happen there. Also, this whole restructuring of Microsoft that's going to go down this week, that's going to shake some stuff loose. So it's going to be a rough time for a lot of these studios, but it is time to trim the fat. Like, they went through their bulking phase for the last like decade where they were buying up all of these indie game studios. I can remember when we were back in Mexico City and it was like, holy shit, they've just bought up. They bought Obsidian, they bought In Exile. I was like, man, those 2 companies there are some really credentialed RPG developers that were in the AA space that Microsoft purchased and pushed to become better versions and or AAA studios themselves. Um, and then we've got Larian doing a few new games. CD Projekt Red's got new stuff coming out next year. We got the Witcher 3 DLC. Witcher 4 will probably be. I would be shocked if Witcher 4 is not a late 2027 release. I would be shocked. I feel like the smart thing for them to do would be you get everybody prepped and ready. You drop the DLC for The Witcher 3 in the spring. You drop the Witcher remake in the summer. You drop the Witcher 4 in the fall. But they might just do it the reverse and say, you know what? Spring is the Witcher 3 DLC. Fall is the Witcher 1 remake. And then early 2028 is the Witcher 4. I don't know, something like that. We're going to get a lot of Witcher soon. Oh, fucking drones again. Stop. Return drones to bay. Well, this is something, as I'm learning to start checking the opportunities board quite a bit more, because there's lots of different things that you do every day that keep the game. A lot of them are like daily activities, but it's stuff, Everybody waking up? Yeah, it is probably 6 o'clock my time. 6:30. Yeah, definitely everybody's waking up now, starting to log on. yes, I need to claim my payment at some point as well. So does this mean everybody's moved on from the signature quest, or is the signature quest still going on? Because I would love to go out there and do the signature quest at some point, but it was unable. I was unable to find a signature that last time. Oh, that's a new thing that just got added. Military campaign objectives, varied objectives that get added every couple of days. Yeah, I mean that gives people, like variety instead of keeping you locked into the same gameplay loop. That's never a bad thing to give you more agency for ways to progress. Thanks for the raid, Detroit. Good morning. You have reminded me now that you're logging in that you're going to say something about coffee, and I'm going to have to go see if my wife's up yet and if she has had hers. Web says it has a max contribution per level. Should be less people onto the other day, though. Okay, yeah, that'll make sense. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, you can. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, Allie. Somebody said it a minute ago in chat. Somebody said you could bookmark the asteroid so you don't have to slow burn to it. That's cool. Cool. Cool, cool. That's assuming I don't burn it on the way out. So if it's still left at half when I bail back home, that would be just another thing that I have to remind myself to do along with recalling my droids is bookmark the asteroid. Great! Another thing for me to try to remember. Because I'm just so good at that. We'll save the big claim until after I wrap up this morning's session. Alright, if we're okay for a few minutes, I got Lou is here guarding me. I'm going to go check to see if there's any more coffee. There's no water, so she's still sleeping. Well, laying in bed. She's like, "Is the water on?" And I was like, "I didn't know the water was off." So the water's off and has been. I guess she got up a while ago to go do chores, and there's no water, so she just went back to bed. She's like, "Well, if I can't work on anything, just gonna go keep sleeping." And Lucas is running around the house meowing at me because he wants to go outside. And the baby Cheep Cheep is chirping from his box. So he wants to go outside. So whenever I finish mining this asteroid, I will need to take a AFK for 10 minutes, probably 5 to 10 minutes, because I'll need to go take the duck outside and do a quick round of clean the litter boxes and give Cat some snacks and do some morning chores. But I can go in. Like, we'll go until we get here. And Chris had not had her coffee yet, so I only took like a third of a cup more to make sure that she's at least got a full cup. Because, yeah, she gets cranky if I don't leave her at least a cup of coffee. That is the only thing I have ever really gotten yelled at over. I mean, every couple has their moments where you have, discussions and maybe arguments, but like I've gotten yelled at for the no coffee thing. I don't do that anymore. And if Chris comes in here, because she's probably listening to my stream at some point, she will joke about it. But she has yelled. She has gotten very cranky. There was a period where I was drinking lots of coffee, and I would just drink all the coffee and go on about my business because I didn't know exactly when she was going to be up. And then what happens was I would forget to make a new batch and make sure that she had coffee when she got up in the morning. And so that became a thing. If you're the first person up, there goddamn better be coffee for me when I get up. So I learned over the years, never let my wife go without her coffee, because that is a very important thing for her first thing in the morning. Where's my coffee, bitch? Don't fuck with my black beans. I need that shit. Wife with no coffee equal danger. 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 Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. uh, that literally, when I went to the bed right now, I was checking to see where she was. She's still sleeping. I didn't say anything. I didn't know if she was awake or not. I just went, kind of peeked my head in. Lucas meowed and got up, and I gave him a scratch. And as I was going back, she's like, "Is the water on?" And I was like, "No." So I went and checked, and I came back and said, "It's water on." She's like, "All right. By the way, I haven't had my coffee yet. Make sure you leave me some." I was like, "Yes, honey. I will not drink all of your coffee." I will have, since we're not going to have our grandniece for the next little bit throughout the month of July. I know Chris has a doctor's appointment on like the 20 something. But apart from that day, I don't know that we're doing any major projects, and I don't know what her plan is for the month other than just she wants to do a lot of house projects that she was not able to work on because of the grandniece. So more than likely, my July schedule is going to be increased streaming hours because I won't need to take a break at 8 o'clock every morning to take my grandniece to school because she's not going to be here. So whenever she goes home the middle of this week, I think, by the time we get to the Assassin's Creed Black Flag relaunch, I should be able to do longer morning streams. So instead of breaking off after 4 hours, I might go for like 6 hours and then take a break and come back in the afternoon for another 2. But right now I've been doing like 3 to 4 hours in the morning and 3 to 4 hours in the afternoon. This will, at least on days when we have new releases and stuff, I'll probably do more like 6 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. I was just thinking about that, Ali. I need to record my video because I've crossed 100 hours played. According to Steam, let's go over to Steam really quick. Because I'm playing through Steam. Oops. No, don't quit the game. I clicked the wrong thing. Steam says I'm 112 hours in. So I have now played the game for 112 hours. So I'm gonna make a review probably after this stream. I'll do my review. But I saw that when I logged in this morning. I was like, okay, I can officially do a review now because I've done 100 hours. Once I've done 100 hours, there's no one out there that can complain that I haven't put my time in order to, give an opinion on the game and do a review. And I skipped the first impressions early access video because I just went. I probably could have done that one as well. But I just because I was making other videos, I was like, fuck it, let's just go. I think that there's pros and cons. I like a lot of things. I still think something that I think would weigh on me if I was playing this for a long period of time, or if I was. But anyway, the threat of PvP is something I don't enjoy. Uh, I don't enjoy that. But I tried this out a few years ago and I had a very pleasant experience because no one really ever fucked with me for the however many hours I played last time. Um, no one has fucked with me so far, knock on wood, but I have also been cautious and I've been with friends and we have been cautious, and that's not to say nothing could happen. We've seen some ships come through, but I have hopefully gotten into a better habit of being like, oh shit, let's jump out of here just in case. Um, and I think that if there was a ton of PvP activity that I was dealing with, it would change my opinion of things. But even if I got hit a couple of times, I would just be like, okay, cool, that happened, big deal. Um, Especially knowing that Exordium exists. Because I know that if all I ever cared about was just farming ore, running missions, and building up ISK to buy materials and buy ships, and I'm okay with the alpha class tier of ships and everything else, I could literally play only in Exordium and have a completely protected, low risk, low reward environment where I could play this game in the background, log on once a week, make sure my skills are always training, working towards the next ship, mine every single day, run missions every single time I play, and eventually work up to just buy the blueprint or buy the ship or whatever it is. I think that it's nice to know that you have um, that buffer. So anyway, I'll do a full review today. Um, it's also a nice palate cleanse game for me because this is so different than most of the things I play. It's mouse and keyboard. I don't play anything mouse and keyboard. The only reason I can get away with this is because it's not like WASD mouse and keyboard. It's more just like, there's a handful of controls I'll use, um, but mostly I'm doing it with the mouse, right? I don't do that much with the keyboard. Um, the occasional thing of like hitting F to send my drones in, W to orbit. I'll do a few things on the keyboard, but I'm not trying to play the game on the keyboard, if that makes sense. Because I pretty much only stick to controller games these days. Um, so it's nice to have a change of pace. But I also know me as a person, and if all I ever did was mine for the next 3 weeks, I'd get seriously fucking bored. But I do think the game has a nice variety of things, because like yesterday I went and ran missions. And my plan this morning was to come on and run mining missions. But then I found out that there's a campaign thing that popped up today for mining Playground. I'm like, well, I'm already doing that anyway for the guild bank. I get to keep the ore and I get credits. Fuck yeah, let's mine some ore for the, it gave me an objective that I happen to be eager to do, so it worked. Um, so this works great for me to just be able to like, I just wanted to come in, and I've gotten so many good screenshots out of this game Being able to take good screenshots is a big factor in how much enjoyment I get out of a game. Like if you give me a good way to take screenshots, um, you know, easy to control camera, a UI that can be toggled off. There's still some like there's some stuff I would like to be able to do that I can't do in terms of being able to like easily move the camera around to where I want it and stuff. But I can come in here and I can probably go to the other side of this ship like this. I can pan that shot right there. That shot, especially if I tilt it in post processing so that the ship is more at an angle, that's a badass photo. So like I've been able to get some really cool, like it's been satisfying the photographer in me that wants to get cool screenshots of shit in space. That becomes a vertical thumbnail right there. Probably a little bit more this way. And then I can get about 2/3 of the ship and the mining laser in that shot. So that's a screenshot. You know what I mean? Like a true photo mode would be awesome. However, I don't think it would be feasible because it would take you out of being combat ready. And if you get ganked in the middle of being in photo mode, I think that would suck. All right, how much hold do I still have? I still have a little bit of hold. Space. Well, I also think the PvP thing too is the game has a lesser community than it used to have, so it's not as populated. That's an aspect of an older game. And I would argue that, from my perspective, most PvP players are going to be out there focused on their corporations and deep space and where all the rare resources are and everything else. We're in the newbie zones. So the only the only people who would be out in the newbie zones would be people working on like campaign objectives, which just got added, and the random PvPer who's doing it for the lulz and not for the rewards, because there's really no reward per se from, especially not from knocking out a ship like I'm in. Like, I'm in a shitty, I could probably put this together for whatever I put it together for, 800,000 credits or something, and it's insured, and I'm just hauling tier 1 ore. Like, that's not a very lucrative target, comparatively speaking. And so, the risk at this level is pretty low because we're not doing anything of high value. Now, if I was 6 years into the game with a ship that's worth 15 billion ISK, and I'm going out harvesting ore that's worth 500 million ISK for an hour's haul, yeah, that's a different part of the game, and that's where the in-game players are going to be at. I think we got. I gotta look back here. We got a pirate here. I thought it had like 100,000 concurrents at one point, Allie. I thought it was up there with like EverQuest and EverQuest 2 and all those games that had like 100,000 people. Now I'm gonna go look. Peak concurrent population for EVE Online. A historical all-time peak of 65,000 on May 5th, 2013. Currently, the global daily is 30 to 35,000 with approximately 5 to 6,000 concurrent on Steam alone. So I guess it had a top of 65,000, and that was one time a long time ago. So the average is like 30,000. Okay, no, that makes sense. No, so I'm mistaken. I thought this had at least 100,000 at some point. Cool. All right, recall my drones. Is there any more Plagio still left here? There is still quite a bit. I don't know if you want to hang out here or if you want to warp back to the base, Lou. I need to take a 5 to 10 minute AF. It's probably going to be more towards the 10-minute side because I need to go outside and run around and do some chores and take the duck outside, the baby duck, and some other stuff. So I'm gonna be AFK for 5 to 10. So if you're safe just hanging out here, I would say just hang out and I'll be back when I get back from AFK. But otherwise, you can warp back to the refinement station. Let me timestamp this.
Warp drive active.
I'll be back in a bit, everybody.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
All right, we're gonna go for a little bit longer. Looks like Lou's got to take off. See you, Lou. I can go for a bit longer, but then I'm gonna have to boogie because we still don't have water. So Chris said we're gonna go to the grocery store and run errands this morning and go have breakfast out since she can't cook anything since there's no water. So we're gonna go get breakfast at a place we know across the street from the supermarket, and then we're gonna go to the supermarket and hopefully the water will be on when we get back. When life hands you lemons, you make lemonade.
Drive active.
There is a scout here. There is a Plague class over there. Yeah, she was gonna stay home and she was gonna cook, and she had a bunch of meat she wants to cook today, but she wants to clean it first. There's, mopping, all that stuff. She can't do any of that this morning. She's like, we might as well go have breakfast somewhere and get groceries while we're at it. So works for me. We got a bit to go though. I got another project that I'm waiting on to come through. And I had a discussion with Chris a few months back, and we're going to readdress the situation here. It's not a situation. That makes it sound bad. I'm readdressing if I'm going to hire somebody to come do shorts for me for a contract. I have a project that's coming through, and if the project comes through, I'm going to take that chunk of money and I'm just going to siphon it aside and set it up for a contractor and see about having somebody come on in a contract role to make short content for a 3-month contract and see if I can justify that expense. If I can justify the expense and I make enough money off of that 3-month contract, then that can turn into something more. But there's no guarantee that it can turn into something more. So we'll work towards that. I'm thinking about it though. I thought about it at the beginning of the year, and that project has come back into conversation again. And if it turns into something and the money's there, then that's what I think I'm going to do with that money. And then I'll do a 3-month run where I don't do any short production. Somebody else is going to be doing my short production. And hopefully, theoretically, be producing like 10 to 15 shorts every single day. Whereas right now, I only do 1 to 2. Because realistically, you should be able to do a minimum of 1 short per hour, minimum. And if they're shorter pieces of content that are like 15 to 30-second clips, that's something you can easily do 2 or 3 of those in an hour. So if I've got someone for 8 contracted hours per day, I should be able to get 10 to 15 shorts per day published. But I have to make sure that I'm able to compensate someone fairly for their time to work for me full time for 3 months on a contract. I think a very interesting place will be when I get to the point where I can have one contract per month that pays between $3,000 and $5,000 on top of the existing revenue that I do and memberships and everything else. If I can get one contract per month coming in that's worth 3 to 5 grand every single month, I would be able to keep someone full-time employed as a clip producer. Because I would just take that money and siphon it aside to that person. But we're not there yet. I do get contracts, but they're not every single month. And they got to be monthly before I can afford to bring someone on full time. I'm still terrified about the management thing, though, because I fucking hate managing people. If Bethesda were to hook me up again regarding Starfield content, would you do it again in a heartbeat? Um, I'm more interested in the Elder Scrolls 6 at this point. Like, I love Starfield, and I'm already doing this thing where they gave me a bunch of creation points, and I'm stepping in and checking out verified creations for Starfield. And I think that that's a fun thing that will keep me busy for for the rest of this year. Like, I don't need to do anything else with them to feel like I'm satisfied with that relationship. Like, I got to go somewhere cool, meet some cool people. I've established first name working relationships with these people, and they reached out months after I went and offered me more stuff and more opportunities. I'm happy to do those things. Um, so I would say it's a given at this point that I will happily work with Bethesda on anything that comes my way from them, assuming that it's something where, you know, I don't see me ever having I don't think there's any Bethesda games that I don't like playing. So if I'm already going to be playing those games and I enjoy those games and they want to work with me on those projects, I would be stupid not to do those things because it's combining all my eggs from that particular basket and saying, cool. Um, Trips, I think if I do another trip for them, I will respectfully be like, look, I really would love to come out, but like it's not prima donna, it's age and just I need yeah, yeah. Just to go somewhere for a day was cool, but I don't know that I necessarily want to do that all the time. And I also want to be able to like travel in business class and and cuz doing it, I mean, it's expensive to fly and I'm not complaining at all. The trip that I took was amazing. They treated me very well. They compensated me fairly. They covered everything. It was a very cool trip. But I did fly coach for the first time in a very long time, and it was not a relaxing experience. And I don't want to go somewhere if I'm not being relaxed while I'm going, because that coach is not a fun experience when you're doing like international. You're on a plane for 8 to 10 hours, or on 3 planes between 8 to 10 hours, and you're doing airport transfers and hotel transfers, and it's just it's nice to go in business first class for that kind of stuff. So I think respectfully, if I get invited again, that's when I say, look, I'd love to come, but and I did that with the travel industry too. First time I go, I'm always happy to take coach because I'm establishing a working relationship. But after that working relationship is established, it's like, look, you know, at the very least, bump me up to, economy plus, business class. I want priority seating, priority boarding. But I do, I gotta work stuff. I gotta work when I'm in trip. Like, I'm not, so I need to be able to be in business class because I need to be able to have the comfort of knowing that I can work while I'm on trip. I need access to the business class lounge, first class lounge, so that I can work while I'm in transit. I don't want to be stuck in coach with no Wi-Fi and or no place to work because there's no fucking, I can't lay my stuff out because I'm in a tiny little seat. There are things like that that come into play when you're doing it for a living. It's like, okay, look, love you guys, but and that can be a significant increase in cost, but And if they can't, it's like, cool, thank you. I have definitely turned down stuff in the past because they couldn't fly me business. And, who's to say though? I mean, Elder Scrolls 6, if they invited me to go see Elder Scrolls 6 in a content creator group a year before the game's going to come out, and I'm allowed to like share footage and do an interview with Todd and all that kind of stuff, I would go do that again. If it was Starfield again, I would be like, business class. Elder Scrolls 6, I might go coach for Elder Scrolls 6. But it is an age thing too. It's like I'm too old to be fucking scrunched into a goddamn card box chair. Um, Standing in line for 4 hours through security because I don't have priority boarding. Like, I'm too old for that shit. I want to get to the airport, go straight through security, get to the front of the line, be on the plane, sat down in a nice comfortable chair with plenty of room to work, a lounge if I get there early so that I can have a snack, work on my laptop, charge my shit, like produce some YouTube shorts, produce some Instagram reels. Like I kind of need those things to be able to accommodate while I'm working because it is a business trip, and business class. Just saying. We'll see. See what the future holds. I definitely won't fly to Europe for anybody unless it's business class. I'm sorry, I'm not flying coach on a 10-hour overseas flight. Fuck no. Because it's going to be an overnighter. I'm going to need to sleep. I am not flying coach to Europe. Ever. I won't even go to Europe on my own if I have to fly coach. Like, it's mandatory for me to fly business class if I'm going to go to Europe. And that shit is not cheap. JK says, Ren translated, yes, I'll play games. I like to get paid to do it. Yep. But, like, honestly, I mean, it's nice to just be, like with any of these companies, Solasta 2, Enshrouded, Windrose, Owlcat, their stuff, Funcom. It's nice to be in the content creator groups at the very least because you get early access to a lot of stuff, which can translate into videos that make a nice, they make a good wage because you get to publish stuff before everybody else does. So that in and of itself is a bonus that is worthwhile to be in those groups. And then, you get to be on a first name basis with some of the content management teams, marketing teams. That's cool. Get to meet the developers from time to time, meet the game director time to time. I mean, that all has its value. But trips take a lot out of me. Like I'm saying, I'm out of the house for 5 days to a week. Chris has to deal with all the animals while I'm gone. She has to deal with grandniece. There's the stress of travel. There's the loss of wages when I'm out of the office not streaming. Is the content that I'm going to create worth the loss of wages? The stress on the body, germs, and being in contact with a bunch of people that could potentially get you sick when you're at the airport. The rigors of travel in terms of the physical rigors. The risk of travel. Leaving my house. Van, taxi, airplane, trains. What's up, Deeks? Trams, all that stuff. It's all factors. We got another player on the field. Yeah, they're in a tiny venture. I don't think I have anything to worry about with them. Keep an eye on them anyway, but I think we'll be okay. I'm also ordering a scale and another set of dumbbells this week. Um, because it is time for me to start the recordings for this fitness thing that I'm going to be doing. That'll be a fun project. I'm not a take your shirt off kind of guy, but I'm going to document the whole process because I am, yeah. It's kind of disappointing. Some of it I can blame on the leg injury, and some of it is just not going to the gym for the entirety of COVID, not running regularly once I moved here, and then having a leg injury. So I'm like 6 years in now to not doing anything serious physically. And I'm not hugely overweight, but I am pudgy and flappy and floppy in places where I don't. The bat wings a few months ago when I saw my bat wings, I was like that has to go. Like that's not cool. And then when my grandniece teases me because I have a bit of a pudge, pot belly. Not a lot, but it's enough. And she's been making fun of me the last couple of weeks. It's like, yeah, it's time. And I have been slowly working up. I've been talking about this. I have been slowly working up and getting, I'm getting some pretty decent. I could do a good 20-minute workout now without, that's pretty regular, 3-4 times a week. So I'm at the point where I feel comfortable. We can crank it up a notch and start recording all the footage and actually focus on because the first 6 weeks was me getting used to all the movements again and trying not to injure myself and having a couple of moments where I was like, oh, I got to take a couple of days off. But I think I'm past all that now, and I think I can get into a regular content filming session. So I'm going to get my scale so I have a starting point, take my shirt off, take some videos, and then just work on it. And then see where I'm at in like 3 months. And start publishing content around it somewhere. I don't know where I'm publishing it. Don't know where. But I am going to record all of it. So as I go month to month, I can share that somewhere and generate content from it. And somewhere out there will be some trolls who want to make fun of a mid-40s balding white guy as he loses weight in front of a camera and puts it on social media. Oh no, yeah, no worries, JK. I would say I am fairly well versed in physical stuff. I was always active through my 30s, especially, but I worked construction all my 20s and was always physically active. And then I got into running, not huge things, but like 5Ks and going to the gym on a regular basis. I used to be. I wouldn't say I was a gym rat, but my fitness was a very important thing for many years. Even during COVID, Chris and I would still try to get out. There was like 3 months, 4 months where we couldn't go anywhere because they kept the parks locked down. But once they opened up the parks, we were still out there running 5K like 3-4 times a week. So I definitely, yeah, I'm not even trying to get big. I have some 10 pounders right now. I'm about to order some 15 pounders. The heaviest I will go is probably 25 pounds is the heaviest I will lift in terms of dumbbells. Like I'm not trying to do like 350-pound bench presses or anything like that. It's just I like where in the past, and I don't know if I'll be able to get there again because I'm in my mid 40s now, and the last time I'm doing this I was in my late 30s. But 25-pound, I like what I look like with 25-pound weight workouts. I feel that I have a lean, I'm not a huge dude, and I've never gotten like jacked, but like I like the way I look naked when I'm 6 months in to a routine where I'm comfortably lifting 25 pounds of and doing every, 6 days a week, hour and a half a day. I've been there before, and I'm going to see if I can't get back there again. Might take me the next year, year and a half. I don't do the fourth since of where I live, so that's an easy one for me.
Orb drive active.
I played a bunch of games yesterday. I did a couple of streams yesterday, and I pissed a bunch of people off on social media yesterday, and spent a couple of hours rage baiting people on X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. But I think today is going to be low key. Today I'm not going to do any of that.
Docking request
A
accepted.
drone show with fireworks. That sounds cool as shit. I think today, this afternoon, I'm going to try to finish Echoes of the End. I think I can finish it today. I was going to do Starfield today, but I'm going to do that instead because I'm on chapter 9. It's only 10 chapters in the game, so I think there's probably 3-ish, maybe 4 hours at most. There's 3 to 4 hours left to beat Echoes of the End. So I'm going to see if I can't beat that this afternoon, and then maybe we'll do some Starfield tomorrow. And then by Thursday, I'm going to be off on the new stuff. All right, let me drop off this ore and get my reward. I got 2 million credits and something else. I guess you only get the loyalty points when you get to 1 million? Or something? I don't quite understand that part of it, but that's okay. Claim all. There's some more ISK. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap, everybody. I'm gonna go have breakfast. We're gonna go out. Chris and I are gonna go out and have breakfast together at a restaurant near our grocery store, and then we're gonna go grocery shopping since there's no water at the house. And hopefully, by the time we get home, there is water, and we will shower. And I'll see everybody this afternoon, later today, later this morning or early afternoon. I'll be back with the next stream. So thanks for hanging out. More Eve Online tomorrow morning.